Be a grown-ass man. Admit to your mistakes. Learn from them so that this doesn't happen ever again. You all need to resign immediately.
He was fantastic today. Gold Star families of the 13 service members killed during the disastrous Afghanistan pullout in 2021, speaking at a congressional forum, which was led by Republican Darrell Issa earlier today. Their anger at the Biden administration absolutely warranted. Cheryl Rex described her interaction with Joe Biden after she lost her son, speaking with the President of the United States. Her son, Marine Lance Corporal Dylan Marola, was killed during that suicide bombing attack. Take a listen to this.
When he approached me, his words to me were, my wife Jill and I know how you feel. We lost our son as well and brought him home in a flag-draped coffin. My heart started beating faster, and I started shaking, knowing that their son died from cancer and they were able to be by his side. Also wondering how someone could honestly, be so heartless to say he knew how I felt a little over 24 hours and learning of my son's death.
Back in June, the State Department released a scathing 87-page report laying out the disastrous end of 20 years of U.S. involvement in Afghanistan. It directly found the Biden administration at fault before and during the fall of Kabul. It threw some blame at Trump as well, but the disaster came from Joe Biden. You can rest assured of that. They emphasized Biden and the administration's major failures in leadership, questioned who really was in charge of this disastrous evacuation. The Biden administration still has not been held accountable. Gold Star mother Sheryl Rex joins me now, along with Congressman Rich McCormick, who sits on the House Armed Services Committee and is a former Marine. To you both, thank you for coming on. Sheryl, I want to start with you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for the sacrifice for your son, the sacrifice your family has made for this country. You paint a picture of a president who didn't really care much, but has some key phrases that he relies on to maintain a political image that he's very much a sympathetic leader. Is that accurate?
It is not accurate. He has never had any interaction with myself or my family. He's never reached out to us personally. He's never apologized. He's never said my son's name. The only interaction I had with Joe Biden was in Delaware to receive my son's body during the dignified transfer.
It's terrible to hear that. Today, what you went through in this hearing, what was that like to be able to send a message, to have a forum to send a message like that?
It's very emotional. It brings up a lot of everything from the beginning over and over. But on the other side, it is nice to have people listening and hearing our stories of how we've been treated and how our children have not been honored through the administration whom ultimately made these decisions. I want my answers, and I'm not getting the answers I'm looking for.
I understand. Congressman, during a House hearing back in March, Marine Sergeant Tyler Vargas Andrews described having the suicide bomber right there in his gun sight. I'll never forget hearing this because it was just astonishing to me to hear. He could not get permission to fire. He had the bomber right there that later killed those 13 service members and close to 200 in total, killed so many people. Take a listen.
Over the communication network, we passed that there was a potential threat and an IED attack imminent. We asked him if we could shoot. Our battalion commander said, and I quote, "I don't know," end quote. Eventually, the individual disappeared. To this day, we believe he was a suicide bomber. We made everyone on the ground aware. Operations had briefly halted, but then started again. Plain and simple, we were ignored.
Congressman, nobody knew who was in charge. Nobody knew what they were doing. How did they get into a situation like this, and where are we in holding this administration accountable?
Yeah, I remember that hearing very distinctly. As a matter of fact, I spent time with that Marine who's getting ready to medically retire here shortly. The commandant will actually be at his retirement, and just hearing the hurt when you don't admit what you've done wrong, so you can't even learn. So it doesn't really mean as much to you when you know that you spent months and years away from your family, you've lost friends, limbs have been lost, traumatic brain injuries, friends and family members who are gone forever. The 20-year investment, the $2 trillion investment, just the egregiousness of withdrawing that same day. I spent 6 months over there as the head of emergency medicine in Kandahar, and watching people die for something that they were fighting for, and then to have no accountability whatsoever. To see now half the population enslaved, meaning the women, to see 27 terrorist cells now training there after such an investment. 5 of the young men who died over there were the same age as my oldest son, who wants to join the Marine Corps, but now is having doubts because of this leadership vacuum. This is something that we have to learn from, or we're going to suffer the same consequences in the future. And quite frankly, who wants to join a military who's lorded over by people who don't know what they're doing? And this is a prime example of poor leadership and accountability.
Sheryl, final thoughts. What do you want to see happen? What do you want the next step to be after what you said today? What would happen today?
On behalf of my son, but also we need changes. There needs to be a lot of changes within our military, within our government officials. Rules of engagement is huge. If nobody knows what to do, then who's their leader? Who are they looking up to? My son's death was preventable, and my son is not here because of the failures by people who were supposed to be leading this country.
I understand. I don't understand, actually, but I could certainly feel your pain. I can hear it in your voice. Sheryl, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You know, most people leave this world and they're never remembered. Your son will never be forgotten for the sacrifice that he made. He looked like a wonderful young man from a wonderful family, and we thank you so much for sharing the story tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congressman, thank you as well. We appreciate it.